is Lisa Jane, and I'm here with Friendly Stories in a secret location in Ciudad. I have some friends here, some little octopuses and Paddington Bear from my little friend Adrienne. Okay, so here I'm going to tell the story of Kevin by Rob Biddulph. The make-believe friend you can really believe in is an imaginary friend with a real heart. Kevin is here to show everyone that if you believe in your friends, they can bring some of their magic to your world too. So, shall we have a look? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Shh, story time. Shh, it's story time. This is Sid Gibbons, and this is his mum, and this is why they're looking so glum. Oh dear, the dinner is on the floor. Sid's dinner was up on the table before, but now it's upside down, tea on the floor. This isn't the first time that Sid's been in trouble. On Monday, his ball turned the bird bath to rubble. On Tuesday, his pens were left out to dry, and on Wednesday, his bedroom looked like a pigsty. Mum folded her arms. As she spoke to the lad. Now, Sydney, remember the talk that we had? But Sid, he was hatching a plan in his head, and before she could finish, the little chap said, I didn't do it. I'm innocent, Sid. But if you'll just listen, I'll tell you who did. Kevin! Yes, it was Kevin. He did it. Why don't you just ask him? He'll have to admit it. And he pointed over to the kitchen table. Mum, confused as she looked at the chair, 'twas quite plain to see that there was no Kevin there. A satisfied Sid stood there and smiled. Well, what does he look like? Said Mum to the child. He's incredibly tall and incredibly wide, and ever so smiley, the little boy lied. He has only one tooth, as strong as a gorilla, has lots of pink dots and fur like vanilla. Whenever I'm down with a sad, lonely feeling, he comes down to stay through the hatch in the ceiling. He's kind, but he's clumsy, and that, I'm afraid, is why he's to blame for the mess that's been made. Look, he's drawn a little picture. Mum rolled her eyes. Her cheeks went bright red. That's enough, Sydney. Now go to your bed and have a good think, 'cause these fibs have to end. You must not blame your mess on your make-believe friend. Grumpily, Sid made his way up the stairs and put on his PJs, the ones with the bears. He sat in the darkness, his mood not improving, when slowly the door to the hatch started moving. Ooh! Suddenly, light flooded in, which Sid could have sworn was vanilla and pink, excited and nervous all at the same time. He took a deep breath and he started to climb. See, See the stairs? Wow! When he got to the top, what a sight to behold! Just look at the sky! Oh, it's a fine shade of gold. The tree trunks were purple, the leaves made of jelly. The flowers were huge and incredibly smelly. The clouds were all star-shaped. The rainbow was dotty, the ladybirds were stripy, and the bumblebees dotty. The grass was a carpet of mint green and yellow. And who's the familiar sort of fellow? Look, who's that? Kevin? You're Kevin, said Sid with a squeal. I cannot believe that you're actually real. You're just like my drawing. No need to pretend. We'll play every day. You can be my best friend. Kevin just smiled and took Sid by the hand, and they started to walk through this magical land. Oh, they passed lots of beasties that looked pretty silly. Some were hairy, some were slimy, some were leggy, some were frilly. Sid smiled and said hi as each one came toward him, but oddly, the strange-featured creatures ignored him. Big, red, little blue, and one shaped like a kidney. They nodded at Kev, but they looked straight through Sydney. By the time they rocked up at Kev's front door, the facts of the matter were hard to ignore. Here in Kev's world, as I'm sure you are seeing, 'twas Sydney who was the imaginary being. Now I have to report with a slight note of dread that Sydney was hatching a plan in his head, a plan oh so cheeky, oh so tricksy, so clever. Invisible Sid equals best fun ever. Are you catching my drift? Do you see what I mean? You can't get told off if you cannot be seen. So he scribbled on the walls and he scribbled on the floors. He bounced on the beds and he swung from the doors. He hosed down the dog and he frightened the hens. He left all the lids off Kevin's new pens. And when it was tea time, Invisible Sid, well, look to your right and you'll see what he did. Ah, dear, what a mess. Just as Kev started to clean up the floor, in walked his dad through the wrecked kitchen door. Slowly but surely, his cheeks went bright red. That's enough, Kevin. Now go to your bed. It was then that Sid noticed, as Kevin walked by, a single blue tear welling up in his eye. Oh no. Suddenly, Sydney did not feel so clever. He actually felt like the least best friend ever. He went upstairs full of sorrow and guilt to where he found Kevin tucked under his quilt. Kevin, Sid whispered. Oh, Kevin, stop crying. I've been really selfish, there's no denying. I'm terribly sorry. I've got you into trouble. I'm going to put it right. All my wrongs at the double. So Sid scrubbed all the walls and scrubbed all the floors. He mended the bed and he fixed all the doors. He brushed down the dog and settled the hens. He tidied all of Kevin's new pens. And then he gave Kevin a card he'd made. My drawing is not very good, I'm afraid, but I hope you like it and find it in your heart a way to be friends like we were from the start. Kevin just smiled and gave Sid a cuddle, and there they both stood in a big teardrop puddle. Kevin showed Sid the way back to the hatch. They said their goodbyes as Sid unhooked the latch, and before he went down, the reformed Sidney Gibbons collected the flowers and tied them with ribbons. Who are they for? Back in his room, Sidney got himself dressed, then ran down the stairs, flowers clutched to his chest. He dashed through the house from one room to another. At last in the kitchen, our Sid found his mother. Mum, I'm sorry for causing such trouble. I am the one who turned the bird bath to rubble. I messed up my room and I ruined my pens. I should not blame it on all of my innocent friends. Then Sidney gave her a beautiful posy, and Mum was so happy her cheeks went rosy. Now, this is Sid Gibbons and this is his mum, and there on the slides our invisible chum. Since Sid learned his lesson and stopped blaming others, Kevin and him have been closer than brothers. I wonder if you have a make-believe friend, an invisible pal upon who you can depend. If no one believes you, don't grumble or moan, 'cause one thing's for certain, you're not alone. The end.